Welcome to the InFlow Podcast. I am your host, Michelle Bosch. I see a gaping hole across society that focuses on the outer work and forgets about the inner work, when what we really need is to bridge the gap between prosperity and spirituality to live a life in flow, with inflows of light, inflows of cash, inflows of creativity, inflows of grace in our lives. Each week, join me for powerful messages and interviews that will leave you inspired and ready to step into flow in your higher work. So now, let's go. Welcome to the InFlow Podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Bosch. Super excited to be coming to you guys, talking to you about, in case you haven't heard, our first in-person event in almost 2 years is coming up next week at the time of this recording. Today is September 20th. Our event starts October 1st through the 3rd here in Phoenix, Arizona. We have over 200 of you amazing superhumans that have registered to come and join us here, to meet our coaches, to meet our team, to just basically completely go through an immersion of all things land, network with other, advanced land flippers in our space. And we just couldn't be more excited to welcome you guys into Phoenix. It's going to be probably only in the 90s, here in Arizona. By the time next week rolls around, but it'll start being cooler evenings and mornings. So that's great. So if you don't have your tickets yet, make sure that you go to landflippinglive.com or to just contact one of our concierges inside of our Land Profit Generator Facebook community. If you haven't joined that community, make sure that you join that community as well. It's free. We're all there helping each other really succeed and stay at the top of our game when it comes to all things land flipping. So as far as the topic for today's episode, I was thinking about what can we discuss? What can I help bring value to you guys today? And I think I'm just going to basically tell you guys what we have been up to in terms of really preparing and gearing up to make 2022 an amazing year. Because yes, you heard me right. We're about to come to the conclusion of Q3 of 2021. And that Q4, basically the month of October, should be the month where you're pretty much laying a vision for your team, for your company, for your life, as to what is going to happen and what do you want to see happen and what intentions you want to set out there and put out there into the world as far as business growth, finance growth, personal development growth, spiritual growth, pretty much everything that has to do with growth. The month of October is the time to be setting up your budgets, to be setting up, what are going to be your revenue goals, to really bring your team together, which is exactly what we're doing before our live event, next week. Our entire team is flying in on September 29th. And on September 30th, we're having a team meeting where we're basically laying out the vision for the next 3 years, actually, of where we're headed as far as our team, as far as a company, and really solidifying along with them, what 2022 is going to specifically look like when it comes to, revenue generation activities, when it comes to improving customer success, customer value, improving our customer journey, pretty much everything that has to do with growth and always progress and always moving forward, always striving for excellence and always chasing to be basically the best at what we do in the marketplace, which is land flipping. Yeah. So I wanted to invite you all to start thinking about right now, in the month of October, the beginning of Q4 of 2021, how 2021 is going to look like. What are those going to be those revenue generating activities or types of properties that you're going to be focused on in each of those months, and what are your expectations? And then you reverse engineer and you basically figure out what kind of org chart is going to be needed in order for me to accomplish these goals, especially if the goals keep on going up as the month progress in 2022, which is the case for everyone. If we want to continue growing, we need to continue stretching ourselves for a slightly bigger goal each and every time, because we have the benefit of experience, we have the benefit of new capabilities, of new skill sets that we're going to be pretty much incorporating and bringing into our toolbox. So there's absolutely no reason why your goals shouldn't be, getting perhaps a little bit bigger, perhaps, a little bit outside of the comfort zone where you have to really, really stretch to make those happen. And so that's pretty much what we're up to right now, creating an org structure as far as how our team needs to look like for where we're going, not just for where we are right now, but for where we're going, in the next 24 months. And I am super excited, and I encourage you to do that the same for yourself. Real estate is a team sport, whether part of your team is going to be, a mentor, a coach, whether part of your team is going to be a CPA, somebody that, is your preferred person to go to in a specific state or county to do closings for you, whether it's going to be bringing on, a VA, to help you, whether it's bringing in somebody that helps you with acquiring properties, on the acquisition side, or maybe somebody that is going to help you on the disposition side. Are you bringing any of that team, full time, or are you starting to just dip your toes into what it means to be a true CEO and bring team on board and have that responsibility of another person that also depends on your vision, on you leading them, on you inspiring them, to get better, to strive for excellence, and so on. It's an exciting time, guys. It's an exciting time right now as we begin Q4 of 2021. And that's really what I wanted to leave you guys. Start thinking strategically, start thinking big, start, picking up the ball now. And, because people are going to start doing this, the rest of your competitors and the rest of the marketplace and the rest of the world is going to start doing this by the time January comes around. By the time January comes around, you are going to be having already, the team, the processes, everything in place to pretty much, get contracts in, get contracts out, start, getting deals coming in, deals being closed, deals coming in, deals being closed, and so on and so forth. Because for the most part, if you think about it, like I said, most people are only going to be starting this kind of thinking in the beginning of next year. You're going to be out of the gates. You're going to have already put in the traction in place, the rocket fuel of the who, and the hows, in way in advance, way before everyone else has done it. And it really gives you an ideal situation. We love front loading our year. We love really in those first 2 quarters of the year, really front loading a lot of what those goals that we have set for ourselves, have those really under our belt. And in order to do that, that's how big corporations actually do it. How do you eat an elephant a bite at a time? You break it down into quarterly goals. You break that stuff into monthly goals. You break that stuff into weekly goals. But you have to start thinking about what those goals are going to be already right now. Don't rest in your laurels. Don't be, and I understand fall is an amazing time of the year to, because of the holidays, because of Halloween, because of Thanksgiving and Christmas. And so that's why right now, those first 30 days of October are so important to set the stage for what 2022 is going to be looking like for you. So with having said that, again, we have our in-person event. We're T-minus 9 days away from it as the time of this recording. If you haven't bought your ticket, go to landflippinglive.com. It's going to be happening here in Arizona I'm going to be there. Jack's going to be there, of course. He's going to be teaching all 3 days. Our master coaches are going to be there. You're going to have access to our team. You're going to have access to the top, 1% of land flippers in the country that you're going to be able to network with. We're taking measures, with COVID to make sure that everyone, in our team has been tested, that everyone, is healthy there. We're going to be taking temperatures as you enter into the room as well, to make sure there's going to be an area as well with a little bit more separation and spacing if that's what you need. We're basically, our team has been preparing and planning for an awesome event, and we couldn't be more excited to meet a lot of you in person that have only met us, through Zoom, through a camera, through video, to actually meet you in person, give you a heart-to-heart hug, if that's what you're all about right now. If you're okay with that, of course. If not, we can keep our distances, of course. But it's gonna be great, and we're looking forward to seeing you guys. So if you're that last minute, person that feels in their heart of hearts that this is something that they need to do, that it's time to make a difference, that it's time to make a change, that you want to wake up in the mornings on Mondays absolutely energized, fired up about your life, about your future, about your finance, your career, the legacy, the wealth, everything that you're creating in terms of, really helping your family stand on your shoulders and have, opportunities that perhaps you didn't have. If you're all about legacy and about, waking up inspired on Mondays, fired up about your day, and really pushing the boundaries of what's possible, of really always, looking and striving for excellence, then join us. And, having said that, thank you so much for joining us on another episode of the podcast. I have a few other topics that are more land flipping related that I'm going to be, recording here in a few for succeeding weeks. But in the meantime, thank you guys for your time, for your attention. If you have been enjoying, and have been now a subscriber of our podcast and have been enjoying these episodes, make sure that you leave us a review. Make sure that you actually leave us a written review. It really helps out in determining, to somebody else whether this is content that they want to spend time with, that is going to enrich their lives, that is going to bring them forward, that is going to uplift them. And so we would greatly appreciate that as well. So thank you so much. And until the next.
I hope this episode left you feeling inspired and ready to get inflows of cash, inflows of light, and inflows of faith in your life. I welcome your reviews on iTunes. Please leave me a review and help me create an amazing community of women in flow. Thank you, as always, for sharing your voice by going to michellebosch.com and joining the conversation about this show. And while you're there, grab a copy of my 10 Commandments to Living a Life in Flow. You can also follow me on Facebook at Michelle Bosch and on Instagram at Michelle Bosch Official. Thank you very much, and until the next one.